who are from Louisiana, that there is a coalition between those of African descent and those who are indigenous Americans, that when you landed on indigenous soil, you were considered a free person. And that is why in New Orleans every year, but during what is called that great celebration in February, they have Indians, black Indians, that come out and celebrate to acknowledge the coalition that has been between people of African descent and those of indigenous first world people in this nation. We can do more together than we can apart. That is why I love being a part of a great group in New York, the Auburn Seminary. They have a fellowship, fellows group. They have brought together some people from the black church tradition, myself and Bishop Flunder and William Barber and Raphael Warnock and Jackie Lewis and Michael Ray Matthews. There we are, we're from the black church tradition, but they pair us with people who are Muslim and Sikh and who are Native American and those who are Jewish, because we recognize that we can do more together, that we are not bound particularly by our traditions, but when we come together, we know that we are all God's children, and by that recognition, we have the ability to be able to speak truly truth to power. Yeah. And so we see here in this text that yes, they were doing this to subvert some things in the face of unholy seduction. They were building radical relationships, but you must see something that's so beautiful, especially for those who are English teachers. They are able to modify their moment with holy hope and redemptive risk. Amen. Modify their moment. Why do I say they're able to modify their moment? It says, even if God doesn't do it, we're still not going to bow down to you. You see what they're saying is that never let your existential crisis undermine your eschatological hope. That the existential crisis is what you're dealing with. Eschatological hope is what will happen in the future as you continue to trust in God. But even if that is a particular modifier, even if I'm not delivered, even if tomorrow never comes, even is an adverb, that is a modifier. It qualifies that which is about to be stated. It does not say eventually when God will. It says even if. It doesn't say only if God will. No, it says even if. In other words, if God does it, I'll shout. If God doesn't do it, I'll still shout. Because I understand that my relationship and my values are not necessarily up for grabs because I'm committed to these values. So even if, and that's what I love about this, that even if God doesn't deliver these young men, they understand that God is still Redeemer and Restorer and Creator and Friend and Peacemaker, that God is still all of these things. But if I may use the black church tradition, they say that Nebuchadnezzar said, well, since you won't bow down, we're going to turn up the furnace 7 times hotter than it's ever been turned before. And in the process of turning up the furnace, one of the soldiers was burned in the process. You missed your shout right there. You see, you got to be careful who you try to burn, because you may end up burning yourself in the process. They turn it up 7 times hotter than before, and there they throw these 3 young men in the furnace. And they think that the men had burned up, and when King Nebuchadnezzar gets the report from the soldier, they say, well, King, we threw in 3, but now there are 4 in the furnace. And the 4th one looks like the Son of God, because God didn't deliver them from the flames. God was just with them in the midst of the flames. And what you need to understand is that God may not wipe out the fires, but God will be with us in the midst of the flames if we are willing to trust and we are willing to fight, if we are willing to stand up. Even if things don't go right tomorrow, we will still stand on our value system. Even if it does not go the way we want it, we shall stand and build a yet to be United States of America.